Go ahead, buy retail, but don't you pay full price.
If you don't know us, I'm Larry.
And I'm Hope.
And we're from Under the Median, where every week we bring you videos on practical frugality.
The very heart of frugality sort of makes us say, all right, we're going to replace this item in our house. We're going to see if a friend or a neighbor has it, that they'll let us borrow it, or that we can get an inexpensive item, or that we can buy it on the used market. But eventually, sometimes it gets down to that moment when you say, yep, we are going to shop retail for this item that we need. The great thing about this is the fact that there are so many different ways that you can go ahead and shop retail and walk out of that store feeling like you didn't pay anywhere near the original price that was on the price tag. And that's what this video is all about.
Last week, we talked about 20 ways you can get discounts at retail stores. This week, we're going to talk about 20 more. But if you missed last week's video, we'll leave a link up above and in our description so you don't miss out on anything.
In this video, we'll share ways to save along with some examples. Now remember, when we give you examples of stores, they are just that. They're examples. So for instance, if we talk about stores that have store loyalty cards, the store that we give as an example is just an example, and there are lots of other stores that also have store loyalty cards. So our goal in this video is not to tell you where to shop, but to give you the tools that you need in order to know how to find the different discounts available and what to ask while you're at that store.
So let's start saving.
Yeah, let the saving begin. All right, the first thing that you can do is like and follow your favorite merchants on their social media accounts. Now, why is this important? It's important because stores are really smart these days, and they are using social media in order to do like prizes, giveaways, contests, and they will sometimes even mention special sale offers that are available only if you see that offer on social media. So it was totally worth the time and effort to follow them on social media.
The manufacturer of the e-bike that I ride, Magicycle, has just such a Facebook group. The company provides incentives. So if you do, like, let's say a battery test or an endurance test on the bike or a range test, they'll give you points that can be applied toward discounts off of items that they sell on their online store. They also do free giveaways for people that participate, and they even have lives where you can come in and join the whole group together on a live forum.
All right, the second thing you want to do is ask about price matching. Now, not every store does this, and they all have their own individual policies, but it is worth asking about. In the past, stores would never match the prices available on Amazon. That was pretty much across the board for a long time. But a lot of stores have been slowly changing that policy, and some stores will now match the price that you find on Amazon. Interestingly, you can also look at that same store, look at their online website, and sometimes the online version of the exact same item you're seeing in the physical store is actually less online. It pays to ask, do you match your store's online price? A lot of times they'll say yes. Interestingly, sometimes
they'll say no.
They will say no, which leaves me scratching my head. I'm telling you. But there's a way around that. If they say no, we don't match our online pricing, what you want to do is while you're there in the store, you know exactly what item you want. You're going to pull it up on your phone. You're going to order it. You're going to hopefully find a button that you push that says free shipping to my local store. You're going to push that button and make sure it's pushed before you check out. Order it and tell the sales clerk, I just ordered it online, and I'm sure your store will let me know when it arrives.
Now, this may not work for you if you live a great distance from the store, because you may not want to make that return trip. It may not be worth the gas investment to do that. But that's just another strategy that you can use. Another strategy that you can use is to ask for cash discounts. It costs the store less if you pay by cash. If you pay by a credit card, the credit card companies charge them, I don't know, is it 3% or something from that card in order to use that service. So a lot of times retailers will offer a cash discount.
Having said that, you kind of want to avoid financing through the store, because that's usually at a really high percentage rate, and you don't want to get sucked into that. You know, a great example is like when you're purchasing a car. I was just on an online forum kind of reading through the comments about this, and car dealerships really, really want you to use financing because that is where they make their money. It doesn't cost them money. They make their money through having you finance it.
That's why we always negotiate an out-the-door price for a car. What do I mean by out the door? That is the final price you're going to pay for the car after license, tax, all the fees that they might tack on. The fees don't matter to me. I just get a bottom line price. This is what I'm going to pay for the car, and that's it. So you want to do that before you even talk about financing or paying cash for the item. And if you want a little more information on this topic of how to buy a used car, we did a video on it, and we'll leave a link up above and in the description of this video.
Larry's really good at this, guys, and he gives you step-by-step instructions in that video how we pay cash for our cars. So once again, we'll link it up above and in the video description.
Shop days when you qualify for a special discount. Now, if you're a senior citizen, you want to pay attention to those little signs in the store that tell you what day they give a special discount. Actually, I was going by one of those do-it-yourself car wash places, and they have a special on Tuesdays that you can wash your car there for $10. Frankly, I don't know why anybody would want to pay $10 to get out and wash their own car. I just do it in my driveway. I get a bucket of water and a hose, but well, anyway, we won't get into that.
Moving on to saving money on retail establishments.
But they do offer a special day where you can get a $10 car wash to wash your own car. Go figure.
This one seems really weirdly counterproductive since we're talking about buying retail, and that is when you're at online stores, put items in your cart and then just leave them there. Just leave them. Don't buy them. Just leave them there. Here's why. That is called an abandoned cart. And a lot of merchants track their abandoned carts, and they have an automated system where they will send you an email 2 or 3 days later and say, hey, did you mean to buy that? That's still sitting in your cart. If you want it, let us give you a special discount for buying that item. And they know if they offer someone a 20, 30, 40% discount, just had this happen to me, guys. 40% discount that you will buy that item that's still sitting in your cart. Etsy sellers can do it too. We know because our son had an online Etsy shop for a really long time, and he had an automated sequence for people who put stuff in their carts and then just left them there.
Retailers also offer special discounts if you do an online survey, but you got to be careful. I almost got hooked into something today where I was thinking I was doing a survey for Harbor Freight and it was a scam. So make sure you're looking in the address part, that make sure that that is a legitimate website, and maybe on your own go to that store's website and see if they're offering any special rebates for doing an online survey. A lot of times when you get your receipt at the store, they'll tell you to take it home and do the survey, and then there might be a cash incentive involved there. So it's a good idea to be very careful and diligent how you apply that tip.
There are online websites that actually specialize in online surveys. One of them is Swag Bucks, which I have used. You complete surveys, you earn points, and then you can turn those points into gift cards for your favorite merchants. I've done this a lot, and I have a lot of gift cards bankrolled right now for Christmas this year. I just sort of start in January and let them pile up until we get to around November, and I'm doing that massive lot of shopping for Christmas, and a lot of our Christmas is then paid for through me answering these online surveys. Pinecone Research is also another one of them. I've applied to Pinecone a couple of different times and they have not picked me. They do it demographically, so they're looking for specific age groups of people, and apparently I have not yet been the age group that they were looking for.
Here's a service that Hope really loves.
Yes.
In fact, she was just using it today. We went and got gas in our car, and I handed her the receipt, and there she is sitting right there at the gas station uploading it to an application called Fetch. Now, we've talked about Fetch before in the past. With Fetch, you can earn points that will go and can be applied toward gift cards. And this is a great service. And we got quite a few points, I think, already with Fetch. And it's so easy. Basically, all you're doing is you're taking a picture of that receipt, and it's kind of helping them in their research process.
Now, if you don't have Fetch and you'd like to know more about it, there's going to be a link for Fetch in the description of this video. If you're looking to save money in more areas of your budget other than just what you spend on retail items. We have an ebook for you. It's a free ebook, 10 ways to radically reduce your expenses, and we have used all 10 of them. There are step-by-step instructions and checklists. Once again, it's free. There'll be a link for it in the description of the video.
If you're enjoying this video, hit the like button. It kind of helps with the algorithms on YouTube.
Tip number 8, know how to decode the price tags. We discovered this when we shopped at Sam's. Sam's has a special code on their price tags that lets you know that that item is discontinued and will be discounted. So if you know how to decode those tags, you can know which items to watch, and they should be dropping in price. This next tip is controversial, dun 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 dun, and that is to use credit card reward points. All right, y'all know that we don't really use credit cards, but we don't have a hard line on credit cards like some other financial people do. There is a way to use credit cards and use it responsibly, and sometimes those points can add up to some real value. For instance, our oldest son and his fiance, their credit card points are paying for their airplane fare for their honeymoon.
Look for first-time incentives on different websites. Now, Walgreens is really good at offering this. If you're a first-time buyer coming to their website, they'll give you a nice discount on that first purchase.
These next 3 tips are sort of combined, and we have used them countless times. The first of these 3 tips would be to look for scratch and dent models.
And to follow up on that, also look for floor models. These are items that are open, they're out of the box, and they have never been sold. They haven't been put in somebody's house. They're brand new, but they'll discount those, especially if they're going to move along to a model improvement on that item. And the other thing you can look for, too, are items that have been returned, and they're called open box items. And I've bought a lot of things in that vein, and they come with a warranty, usually from the store, and it's just as good as buying something brand new. Somebody probably returned it because it was the wrong color or didn't work for them, or they decided to get a better model of the item. So those are some other things you can look for in buying retail.
Interestingly, and not surprisingly when you think about it, a key time to look for those open box items is January, maybe even early February, because that is the amount of time that you're eligible to return items from Christmas.
Yes.
So people have received things as gifts and went, oh, I don't think so. Return them to the store, nothing wrong with them. And you can score major deals on those open box items. Larry mentioned the whole idea of color just a second ago, and I want to follow up on that. Discounts that are available that people don't often think about is the fact that some people will buy paint. It's just not the right color. They take it back to the store, and you can get those paints which have hardly been used. They've just literally been opened, and somebody went, I don't think so. Took it back to the store, and you can get those at discounted prices. A lot of hardware stores, home improvement stores will have specific areas where they have like DIY items. Sometimes even boards which have been cut and just weren't the right size or shape will be returned to the store. So look for those areas.
Another thing to look for is, especially a major retailer and maybe a locally owned retailer in your area, they might have a warehouse where you can go directly to purchase that item. And we did that with our washer that we just replaced about a year ago. We went to the warehouse and purchased it, and we saved $100 off of the original price by doing that.
I think it was $150 we saved, and it wasn't an open box. It wasn't a scratch and dent, wasn't a floor sample.
Right.
It was just like an overstock. And so sometimes these warehouses, you can score some major deals just because they've bought too many of them.
And along with that, we also got free delivery. So look for that too. Make sure you're within that delivery mileage area so you can get the item delivered and not pay anything out of cost for that.
The other thing to consider, if they're going to deliver it, are they going to haul away your old item? This is all stuff that you can sort of negotiate at the store as you're purchasing the item. Particularly like if it's like a new mattress for a bed, those mattresses are hard to get rid of, y'all. There's special things you got to do to get rid of it. And if a store is going to deliver my new one and take away my old one, I am in.
buy in bulk. It's often cheaper to buy more than one of a particular item. So it all depends on what it is. Obviously, if it's a mattress, you don't want to maybe buy those in bulk. But if it's a smaller item, especially things like what we do at our Amish store, we buy grain, buy that in bulk. We get a great discount by buying it that way.
Yeah, and it's not just buying like 24 or 50-pound bags of something like we do when we go visit our friendly Amish store. This is sometimes you'll see on websites anymore. Tell me in the comment section if you've noticed this too. It will say it, like sometimes there's even a pop-up that says, you like this? If you buy 2, you're going to save 10% off each of them. If you buy 3, you're going to pay 15%. You buy 4 or more, you're going to save 20% for each one that you buy. I think like for bookstores and stuff like that, you see this sort of thing oftentimes at that kind of a website. It's an interesting thing to look at and just determine how many of these do we really need.
Know the sales cycles at different stores.
Well, it's not only that different stores have various sales cycles, it's that items have specific sales cycles. So for instance, you're always going to find what they call white sales in January or February. So you're going to see sheets, pillowcases, mattresses, pillow toppers, comforters. All of those are going to go on sale at that specific time of year. So it pays to sort of do a little bit of research if you don't need something right away and say, if I wait another 8 weeks or another 12 weeks, I could actually find this item on sale. And along with that, it's actually really good to know like what happens after major holidays or at the end of season. So for instance, at the end of summer, you're going to find all the patio
sales.
You're
Yeah, I'm just going to mention that.
Anything involved like grills, anything involved in helping you grill, like those mitt things or the tongs or all that stuff is going to go on deep discount and deep clearance. So it's always great to know when to look for those items as well.
We bought our table and chairs that we have out on our back patio, and I think we got 50% off.
Plus an extra 20 or 30% on top of that.
Yeah, it was right at the end of summer. It was a really good deal.
Have you ever Grouponed? My sister uses Groupon a lot and loves it. Now, primarily, Groupon is going to buy a lot of tickets. They buy them in bulk, and then they resell them to you at a discount. Now, the bad thing about Groupon is often the tickets that you're buying are specific to specific dates, and there's a limited number of them available. But if you want to go see like attractions in your area, something like that, you're going to be able to get sometimes a screaming good deal on Groupon. But there's all kinds of stuff that you can find on Groupon, so check it out.
Look for federal or state write-offs on different appliances that you buy.
Often these are related to Energy Star appliances, and you can literally get a rebate on your federal taxes and sometimes your state taxes when you buy Energy Star appliances. Now, you need to make sure that you save all of your paperwork and all of the receipts to be able to prove that you actually purchased that item in the current tax year. Interestingly, we used what we like to call a layered approach to savings the last time we did this. Now, we actually did this when we replaced our freezer. We found a freezer. We applied for a $50 rebate through our utility company. They sent the $50 rebate. Now, it had to be specific models, makes, models, and they had to be Energy Star rated. So make sure when you are applying for these kind of rebates that you read the fine print and know you're getting exactly what you want and need. So we got $50 off. They would have come and hauled away our old freezer and given us $50. But we wound up selling the old freezer for $85, even though it was old and it was sad looking and it was beat up. It got us $85, which was more than the $50 the energy company was going to get us. And then a third layer of savings, we applied for and received a rebate on our federal taxes that year. So think in terms of the way that you can layer these various discounts. Now, if you're interested in other ways of saving when you're buying retail, and we go into a little bit more detail on the first half, the first part of this program, we went into more detail on what that whole layering process looks like when you're layering different discounts and buying one item and getting several different discounts on that one item. The first part of this video, part 1, is going to be right over there. So if you haven't watched it, there are actually 20 more ways that we personally have used to save when we buy retail.
And while you're at it, if you're enjoying this video, hit the like button. It kind of helps with the YouTube algorithms, and it makes us feel good to be liked.
What?